Good evening. Welcome to MÁS CON MAS. I am your host, Raúl Mas. Thank you for being with us. Appreciate your support of this program, as well as our sponsors, Grimal Joyeria, Youngevity, and Cachita Universal Studios here in Miami, Florida. We've got a terrific guest today, a bit of a novelty for me because, we've typically invited a lot of Republicans and conservative Republicans, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit, not be accused of being totally partisan. So I've invited probably my favorite Democrat in Miami. His name is Simone Ferro, or more appropriately, Ambassador Simon Ferro. Simon, welcome to the program. Thank you for taking time out to, participate in my program. Thank you.
Raúl, thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for the compliment. Being your favorite Democrat, I can say the same thing about you. I've always enjoyed discussing politics with you because you are a thinker. You're not an extremist, a fanatic. You actually think things through. You're very firm on your Republican principles, which I appreciate. And I always like discussions with people of your stature. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. And likewise, brother. Let's tell the audience a little bit more about you. And quite frankly, I'm curious as well. I mean, I've known you for, over 20, 25 years or so. But I don't really know a whole lot about, your formative years, as a child, where you grew up, where you went to school, et cetera, et cetera. So before we get into the politics and a variety of different things I've got in mind to talk with you about, give people an idea of, where you grew up and your background, how your parents arrived in the United States, et cetera.
Sure. Well, I was born in Cuba in 1953. My family came to Miami in the summer of 1960. We were probably one of the first of the wave trickling into Miami or to this country from Cuba. We lived in Miami for about 6 or 7 months and then moved to New Jersey, a beautiful little town called Livingston in New Jersey, and where I lived for about 3 years, where I basically learned my English, became a little Cuban American, very immersed in American culture, Little League, Cub Scouts, everything. In 1963, my family moved to Puerto Rico, where I had other family who had moved from Cuba to Puerto Rico directly. And I lived there until 1969. In 1969, we moved back to Miami. So I basically finished my last 2 years of high school here in Miami. Went to Miami-Dade Community College for the first 2 years, University of Miami for my second 2 years of college, and then went to law school at University of Florida.
Fantastic. Listen, I didn't realize we had that in common, but, Puerto Rico has actually played a big part in the sort of Cuban exile experience because a lot of Cubans ended up on the island eventually. My father was one of them. My father got us all off the island in 1961, but he got stuck behind until about 1965. And when he did, because he didn't speak a word of English, and he was a very experienced and knowledgeable veterinarian, he went to Mayagüez, Puerto Rico, where he was able to find work as a veterinary technician for the U.S. government. And he lived there for a number of years before we finally reunited with him in the early 70s. But Puerto Rico has been a big sort of stopping point for many Cuban families that sort of dealt with that same anxiety of, wanting to, come to the United States, but being very, very afraid of the language difficulties.
You're right, and Puerto Rico offered the perfect environment for many Cubans who wanted to remain within a Latin culture, I guess, in a way. I have many family members still in Puerto Rico. They live there. They're very happy there. They're basically now they have roots in Puerto Rico, and we keep in touch. But you're right. Puerto Rico has been a very important part of the Cuban exile story, and we certainly appreciate everything that beautiful island has done for Cuban Americans.
So let me ask you right off the bat. I mean, how how did your experiences shape you and lead you to become a Democrat and become as involved in the Democratic Party as you have been throughout your career? Because at one point you were the chair of the Florida Democratic Party. What steered you in that direction? Because, a lot of Cubans like myself, tend to be, the older Cubans tend to be more conservative. A lot of us are Republican. I think a lot of that has to do with the Bay of Pigs, John Kennedy, the quote unquote betrayal at the Bay of Pigs without the air support. I think that's where a lot of our conservatism and affinity to the Republican Party comes from. But what led you in the opposite direction? What led you to become a Democrat?
Well, first of all, I got very interested in politics in my early years, in my teenage years. My father, who really fluctuated between being a Democrat and a Republican throughout his life, was a very well-read person. I remember receiving, at home, we used to receive Time Magazine, U.S. News and World Report, and Newsweek, and the Miami Herald, and the New York Times. And as my father finished reading them, I would pick them up, and I always tried to be very up to date on what was going on in the national level, at the national level, and internationally. What led me to get involved in local politics, at least at the party level? I've never run for office. After I graduated from law school, and I can't return to Miami, I immediately called the local party office of the Democratic Party, and I said, how can I get involved? Now, why the Democratic Party office? I'm talking, I came back in 1978 from law school. I was here since '69. Those were the years of Claude Pepper,
Yeah.
Dante Fascell, Bob Graham,
Sure.
Lawton Childs,
William Lehman.
Bill Lehman. They were all Democratic congressmen, that's who I grew up with. That's who I grew up admiring. And the fact is that Claude Pepper represented almost a very majority Cuban American district. He was loved by Cuban Americans. He was a defender of the elderly. He was a defender of equality and justice and everything that had to do with the priorities of the Cuban American community. And he also was very strong against Castro. So Dante Fascell and Bill Lehman and Claude Pepper and all those Democrats really, to me, represented the right balance and approach that I saw to life and to politics, which is you've got to be strong on social issues, which Cuban Americans appreciated. You have to be strong on equality. You have to be strong on tolerance and inclusion, but you also had to be tough on communism and on foreign policy issues. And I found that balance attractive to me, and that's why I became a Democrat. And I still espouse those same principles.
Yeah. No, listen, I remember those individuals. They were titans. My late brother, Raúl Mas Canosa, was very close to all of them. I think Claude Pepper and Dante Fascell, to their credit, early on realized the influence that the Cuban American community was having on South Florida. The large numbers that were coming over, that we would in fact change the landscape, and early on made the correct decision to engage with the Cuban American community and really become advocates for the Cuban American community. And I recall as a young man in high school, I went to high school at Belen Jesuit, a small, all-boys Catholic school here in Miami. But I remember Dante Fascell, I think I was a junior, maybe even a senior in high school. And Dante Fascell came to our tiny little school on Southwest 8th Street and 7th Avenue to address us and talk to us about America and talk to us about public service. And, curiously, at the time, I didn't really have a political affiliation, but the first person that I actually campaigned for when I was in college was Scoop Jackson, because he was very firm on national security. Sure. So you can actually say, and a lot of people may not believe this, but I actually started off as a Democrat, but very quickly sort of mended my ways and switched parties. But that attraction was real. Those gentlemen were titans at the time. And, you know, one of the things that I recall, especially about that generation, those guys brought a lot of money to Miami. I mean, you know, Claude Pepper, Dante Fascell, William Lehman, all had very significant positions within the House of Representatives, and they brought home the bacon. I mean, we got a causeway up there in North Miami, Aventura, named after William Lehman. The Metro Rail, I think, here in Miami would not have been built if it had not been for the influence of these individuals. So it was a different time, but very influential Democrats, without a doubt.
And you're right. And you know, and again, my principles have always remained the same. I remember Scoop Jackson. I remember so many other important Democrats at the national level who really were moderates and represented what I still believe today is the feeling of most Americans. You know, I've always held to the belief that all extremes are bad, whether they're political or personal or emotional or whatever they may be. I think you need to have a party affiliation, because in today's two-party system, you can't really go without being affiliated with a party. But most importantly, I think it's your own personal principles and the way you focus on things that is important to any leader. And again, that's what I try to associate myself with within the party, within the Democratic Party. I remember during the 70s and 80s, before the rise of Bill Clinton, how we moderate Democrats were looking for a leader, and we're looking for a place to bring the party back to the middle and bring the party back to thoughtful discussion and thoughtful compromise. We found that leader with Bill Clinton, yeah. And that's where I stand today.
That's a great point, Simone. Let's hold off for a second. We got to take a quick commercial break, but I'm glad you brought that up, because when we come back, I want to talk to you about that Democratic Party and the Democratic Party that we have today. So stick with us. We're going to take a brief commercial break, and then we'll be right back to continue our conversation with Simone Ferro. Stay with us.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
CardioBeats from Youngevity supports a healthy cardiovascular system and helps supply the nutrients your body needs to support better physical endurance. Your capacity to last a little longer is largely based on how well your cardiovascular system expends oxygen and circulates blood through your body. CardioBeats helps combat the oxidative stress caused by physical activity by supplying you with key nutrients that support your cardiovascular system. These nutrients have also been shown to help improve endurance. CardioBeats starts with organic beets, a rich source of nitrates to support healthy blood flow and oxygen transport. We've added whole foods from highly bioavailable seaweed and mango fruit, both known for blood flow support, and antioxidant-rich sweet cherries. Then, for even more heart health benefits, we finished it off with key amino acids. Take your physical endurance to the next level with Cardio Beats. Talk to your Youngevity associate for more information.
Just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you have to look it or feel it. Immortalium by Youngevity was developed to support your body's ability to age normally and healthfully. It's an advanced anti-aging supplement that combines the most effective essential nutrients in a cutting-edge, bi-layered and extended release tablet designed to support your telomere health and natural aging process. Telomeres are the biological clocks within your cells that form the protective ends of almost every chromosome in your body. Telomeres help prevent the chromosomes from deteriorating. The longer and healthier the telomeres in a cell, the greater the health and anti-aging benefits. Immortalium contains synergizing antioxidant enzymes and telomere health-promoting nutrients that are quickly absorbed to give your body time to break down the antioxidants and put them to work. Immortalium, advanced anti-aging support that can help fight the natural aging process. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Youngevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Youngevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting sugar-free berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Paying attention to your overall health also means focusing on the command center of it all, your brain. Factors like stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and the bombardment of pollutants and toxins can all diminish brain and neural functions. When was the last time you concentrated on your brain health? Synaptive by Youngevity is a cutting-edge, unique brain support supplement that delivers powerful nutrients both immediately and throughout the day. Its anti-stress nutrients provide instant brain-boosting support that helps with mental focus and cognitive activity. To enhance your body's neuroprotection, Synaptive's full-spectrum antioxidant blend targets 6 major classes of free radicals that inhibit brain function. This powerful nutrient combination also promotes healthy blood flow to the brain. Synaptive, optimal antioxidant neuroprotection and support for a healthy brain. Now that's something to think about. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
We are ENTV USA. You can find us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Roku. You can also download our mobile applications either from Google Play or from the Apple Store, depending on your online device. Give us a shot. You'll like what you see. Con una vista, basta.
Understanding your microbiome can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome back to MÁS CON MAS. Thank you for sticking with us. I'm interviewing a very interesting gentleman here named Simone Ferro. Ambassador Simone Ferro, who was our U.S. ambassador in Panama from 1999 to 2001. Simone is also a practicing attorney here in South Florida and been very involved in the Democratic Party for quite some period of time. And right before the break, he was talking about how, he became involved with Bill Clinton and eventually served in the Clinton administration, primarily because he viewed Bill Clinton as a moderate. Is that fair to say, Simone?
Yes, he was a moderate. He was a person, obviously, with extreme charisma and personality, and was able to utilize not only his ideology but his way of communicating with people. I think to bring the country together, to have 8 very successful years during which we balanced the budget a number of times with cooperation from Republicans. And, it was, I thought that he was the example that ought to be followed both in the Democratic and Republican parties, with their own ideologies. We all have to have some differences in ideologies, but in terms of the way of functioning and administering the country, I think he is the ideal that we should be striving for.
But Simone, that moderation, I think in both parties, in both the Republican and the Democratic Party, I think started to change probably in the late 90s. What do you think caused that? I mean, some people say, well, it was Newt Gingrich and when he assumed the speakership of the House, and it was, some people attribute it to the rise of, Fox News and CNN. Where do you see this polarization in the United States political process beginning?
Well, actually, you hit upon several of the, I think, of the causes. I think there's no single cause. I think the country, unfortunately, had been moving towards greater polarization for a big number of reasons. The demographic change throughout the whole country, the political change, the rise of minorities in a way. I think Newt Gingrich probably, if you had to go look at a political point in time, I think that Newt Gingrich probably, to me, represented a break from tradition of past speakers in opposition to a sitting president. Newt Gingrich did bring I think, a more divisive and more extreme rhetoric to the conversation because he saw that it worked. He saw that it worked in terms of the Republican constituency. And he did try to become a much more aggressive speaker for his party. Clinton and he actually did a lot of things together because Newt Gingrich was also, I think, a very practical person who was somewhat oriented to certain goals, which he was able to achieve with the cooperation of a Democratic president. But ultimately, I think that Newt Gingrich did establish a much more divisive attitude and relationship between the executive and Congress because it served the political purpose, and he saw that kind of rhetoric worked. And then as you go along through the process, where you do have, again, an ongoing demographic, cultural, and political change in this country, it took a natural course of what I believe is unfortunately a somewhat resentful constituency within the Republican Party. And I'm not saying that all Republicans are like this. It only takes a minority to sometimes to drive issues. It takes minorities both in the Democratic Party and in the Republican Party to certainly drive wedge issues, which I think are, have we've seen the consequence of on both sides of the party, of the electorate. So that's where I think the whole thing started. And then, in my humble opinion, President Trump really, really understood the value of the wedge issues and the value of extreme positions within the Republican Party, and that's where we are today. I think that's the history of that.
I think it's fair to say that the Republican Party today is, without a doubt, sort of the Trump Republican Party. I think 80% of Republicans are firmly in support of the president, if not more, from some of the data that I've seen. But the Democrats have also sort of pushed the envelope, obviously in a whole different direction. And if you look at the Democratic Party's national platform, which a lot of people didn't pay attention to, but I did, it was like over 100 pages. And it's sort of a wish list of just about every progressive agenda that you can imagine is front and center in that platform. And I asked myself, Simone, and I don't know how you feel about this. I mean, what's it going to take for us to find a way to get back to the middle, or are we going to remain in these extremes for some period of time? How do you view things? If you had a crystal ball in front of you and you looked at America 5 or 10 years from now, do you see us in the same place, or do you see us reverting to the mean, back to a more civilized discourse?
Sure. Well, first of all, I do want to say that both parties, I believe the Republican Party is more at fault, but both parties are at fault in going to extremes and allowing extreme voices to drive and sometimes drive the public discussion. I will tell you that progressive views, are not all entirely bad. I'm a moderate. I don't agree with all progressive views that are represented by the extremes of my party. I don't agree with defunding the police. I don't agree with a number of issues. But progressive views are social human views. Without progressive views, we would not have had the Civil Rights Act. We would not have had Social Security. We would not have had a number of things that historically were viewed as completely out of the mainstream of thought in those days. So, you can't completely dispel all progressive views. Sometimes, those are the ones that drive the country forward and will become not progressive views, but the majority view, and it will be appreciated that way. So, but I do believe that both parties are at fault in the environment that we live in today. What will it take? It will take leadership. I have no doubt that the answer is not necessarily what we write into our nominating committees or into our draft in our position papers. It takes leadership. It takes people like I go back to Clinton. Ronald Reagan was I didn't agree with everything that he stood for or that he did, but I have to respect the fact that he loved his country. He understood the importance of keeping it united. He understood the importance of civil discourse. He understood that there were things greater than a specific issue, one way or the other. I think, again, I didn't agree with everything he did or said, but he was a patriot. And he was one who was willing to sit down famously with Tip O'Neill, who was a very liberal Speaker of the House. And they worked together, and they had a not only common human interest, but they had the interest of keeping the country together and working without divisions. And they were all both of Irish descent, so that helped.
Sure.
And there was a bond between them. Now, we can't expect that out of every administration and every speaker who's on the other side, but it's an example to follow. We need leadership on both sides. That's what and it has to come from the top. I will tell you, people can say, well, Reagan or Trump or Pelosi or whomever. It's got to start at the top. The president is the one that sets the example. And by setting an example, the president forces the issue of that discussion and that give and take. The fact is, we live in a country that is very divided. I don't think it's going to get together again by itself. I think that if we leave things as they are, and if we do not, as leaders of the country, those that will be leaders of the country, if we do not make the attempt and we do not insist and require of our parties that we lower the tensions, that we not go to the wedge issues, which have nothing to do with real policy. If that does not happen, Raúl, I don't think this country is going to get better than it is today. I think it's going to get worse. And and I don't know how we put it together.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it's those wedge issues, it's those hot button issues that are dominating the conversation. We're completely forgetting about, things like, this incredible debt that we've now built up as a result of the pandemic and sort of, spending from both Democrats and Republicans over the past, 20 plus years or so. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about, really, healthcare. I mean, healthcare has almost been a secondary subject. I mean, the Democrats have been talking about it, but quite frankly, the Republicans haven't done enough until just the other day to start talking about healthcare. But those issues are getting lost. So I agree with you, Simone. We need to find a way to sort of come back, and I don't know where we're going to find those moderates in our party, but I'm sure that they're out there. And, we need to find a way to try and listen to their voices and, like you say, suppress those wedge issues, because otherwise we're just going to be in this indefinitely. I appreciate you being on the program with me, Simone. Thank you so much for taking time out and expressing our views and having this conversation.
My pleasure. Thank you. And I'm happy to come back whenever you want.
We got a lot to talk about. I had a bunch of stuff here I wanted to talk to you. We didn't get to even touch half of them, but hopefully we'll do that in a future segment. Thank you again. Have a great day, Simone.
Paying attention to your overall health also means focusing on the command center of it all, your brain. Factors like stress, lack of sleep, poor diet, a sedentary lifestyle, and the bombardment of pollutants and toxins can all diminish brain and neural functions. When was the last time you concentrated on your brain health? Synaptive by Youngevity is a cutting-edge, unique brain support supplement that delivers powerful nutrients both immediately and throughout the day. Its anti-stress nutrients provide instant brain-boosting support that helps with mental focus and cognitive activity. To enhance your body's neuroprotection, Synaptive's full-spectrum antioxidant blend targets 6 major classes of free radicals that inhibit brain function. This powerful nutrient combination also promotes healthy blood flow to the brain. Synaptive, optimal antioxidant neuroprotection and support for a healthy brain. Now that's something to think about. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Understanding your microbiome can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Ultimate Microbiome by Youngevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
A strong heart is a happy heart. Your body's systems depend on a healthy cardiovascular system to thrive. Without a healthy heart, you could experience symptoms like fatigue, aches and pains, dizziness, or shortness of breath. Youngevity developed Ultimate EFA Plus with a proprietary balanced blend of essential fatty acids. We started with flaxseed oil. It's been shown to improve the elasticity of arteries and support healthy blood pressure. Next, we included cold water fish oils, rich in omega-3s that can promote a healthy cardiovascular system and even increase levels of good HDL cholesterol. Then we added borage oil, known for its powerful anti-inflammatory properties. Blended together, these essential fatty acids provide you with the optimal blend of nutrients to help maintain normal cardiovascular health. Ultimate EFA Plus, the right nutrients to improve your heart health naturally. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Just because you're a certain age doesn't mean you have to look it or feel it. Immortalium by Youngevity was developed to support your body's ability to age normally and healthfully. It's an advanced anti-aging supplement that combines the most effective essential nutrients in a cutting-edge, bi-layered and extended release tablet designed to support your telomere health and natural aging process. Telomeres are the biological clocks within your cells that form the protective ends of almost every chromosome in your body. Telomeres help prevent the chromosomes from deteriorating. The longer and healthier the telomeres in a cell, the greater the health and anti-aging benefits. Immortalium contains synergizing antioxidant enzymes and telomere health-promoting nutrients that are quickly absorbed to give your body time to break down the antioxidants and put them to work. Immortalium, advanced anti-aging support that can help fight the natural aging process. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Antioxidants are essential to protect your cells against the damaging effects of free radicals. Turmeric by Youngevity harnesses the power of nature to combat free radicals by delivering a potent boost of antioxidants known for their incredible healing properties. Sourced from certified organic turmeric root, turmeric contains 95% curcuminoids, the active compounds that quash free radicals. Turmeric has been used in Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine for thousands of years to promote both heart and brain health, as well as its powerful anti-inflammatory properties. We've also included a botanical blend of phytonutrients that include flavonoids, carotenoids, and sulfides. These natural, plant-based chemicals are powerful contributors to overall health and well-being. Turmeric, the organic antioxidant supplement from Youngevity, formulated to promote optimal health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
As you age, the collagen that helps keep your body in optimal physical condition breaks down faster than your body can replace it. But now, it's easy to give your body the healthy dose of collagen it needs with Collagen Creamer from Youngevity. It's a delicious vanilla-flavored coffee creamer that's packed with 7.5 grams of bovine-sourced collagen peptides. Youngevity's Collagen Creamer uses 2 types of collagen to better supply the protein needed to repair and strengthen the connective tissue in your body. It also supports healthy hair, skin, nails, and even bones. We've also formulated Collagen Creamer with MCT, healthy fats that the body is able to absorb and convert into an instant boost of energy. Add it to coffee or one of your other favorite beverages when you need it. Youngevity Collagen Creamer. Support for healthy connective tissue and more energy, all in a tasty vanilla-flavored creamer. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome back to MÁS CON MAS. I'm your guest, Raúl Mas. Thank you for sticking with us. Thanks again to our sponsors, Grimal Joyeria, Cachita Coffee, Cachita Universal Studios, Youngevity, all the sponsors that make this program possible. Very appreciative for your support. And thank you, the audience, for listening in. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Simone Ferro. I wish we would have had some more time to talk to him about some other issues besides politics. As I mentioned in that interview with him, he actually served as the U.S. ambassador to Panama from 1999 to 2001. I lived in Panama as well for a couple years early on in my career. I wanted to talk to him about the whole money laundering issue, which has been a lot in the news lately. This report, these investigative journalists that are uncovering some incredible details about the influence, the pervasive influence of money laundering in our political process globally, not just here in the United States. But we'll get him back on the program sometime soon. I hope you enjoyed him. Listen, a ton to talk about this week. You know, there is so much that it's hard to really, you know, where do you begin, right? I mean, we continue to see this violence on our streets, especially now after the grand jury decision on the Breonna Taylor tragedy, the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Trump's selection of a new Supreme Court nominee prior to the election on November 3rd. All this news of sort of, you know, the mail-in ballots and whether it's going to be a fraudulent election or not. Trump talking about whether or not he'll honor the election results. I think that's a little bit of a cat and mouse game that the media is playing with him, trying to get him into a box to say, yes, I will, knowing full well that it's going to be a very contentious election on November 3rd. I think it's fair to say that this election on November 3rd is not going to be decided in the wee hours of the morning. I think this will go on for quite some time, especially because of this COVID-19 pandemic, the fact that so many people are going to choose to vote by mail, by absentee ballots, or in some of these new mailing campaigns that several states are undertaking. I think there's going to be a lot of potential for abuse, and we may not have that decision on November 3rd unless it's a landslide victory. You know, the polls continue to show Biden in the lead. Most of the national polls show that. When you go down to the nitty-gritty, which is the battleground states, it becomes a lot more problematic. You're seeing much more tightness in those battleground states, which are really the ones that matter. Because if you think about it, in 2016, the Democrats won the popular vote. They had 3 million more votes than the Republicans did. So it doesn't surprise me that at a national level, Joe Biden is ahead. I mean, we saw it, you know, back in 2016. That, in fact, is what happened. But I think the key to all of these polls is really focusing on those battleground states: Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nevada, Arizona. Those are the states that I think are really going to swing this election. Remember, it's the Electoral College that matters. It's not the popular vote. And we need to focus on those polls, and specifically in those polls on what are the likely voters. And I got to tell you, I think polling in general has become much more difficult because of the fact that now everybody, you know, we all have our cell phones now, right? And I don't know about you, but, you know, if I see a call come in and I don't recognize it, 9 times out of 10, I don't even take it because I'm afraid it's going to be, you know, somebody wanting to sell me, you know, insurance or some other product or whatnot. And I just let it go to voicemail. And I think it's the whole process of polling has become very complicated in recent years, and I wouldn't put too much weight on them. One of the great things that I enjoy about these political campaigns is seeing the advertisements that come out. And those advertisements are very, very important and oftentimes very influential. Look right now here in the state of Florida. You know, Bloomberg saying he's going to spend $100 million in the state of Florida to try and make sure that Florida ends up voting for Joe Biden. And as a result of all that money that's being thrown into advertising, you've got some really interesting campaign advertisements that are out there. I want to focus on a couple of them, which I think you'll enjoy looking at if you haven't already seen them. Let's start with a woman named Kim Klacik. Kim Klacik is running for the House of Representatives in Baltimore, Maryland. She's running for the seat that was vacated through the death of Elijah Cummings. You'll recall that Elijah Cummings and President Trump butted heads on more than a few occasions. Trump basically criticizing Elijah Cummings and the city of Baltimore, saying that it was basically a slum and that it was all Cummings' fault and that, you know, he hadn't really done anything for his district. Well, Kim Klacik, who is a Republican, has taken advantage of that, and she's come out with some incredibly powerful advertisements that I think have really elevated her to a national stage. She was, in fact, the featured speaker at the Republican National Convention. But let's take a look at that first ad that she ran, Kim Klacik for Congress. Take a look and enjoy this advertisement and take a look at how powerful it is.
Do you care about Black lives? The people that run Baltimore don't. I can prove it. Walk with me. They don't want you to see this. I'm Kim Klasick. This is Baltimore, the real Baltimore. This is the reality for Black people every single day. Crumbling infrastructure, abandoned homes, poverty, and crime. Baltimore has been run by the Democrat Party for 53 years. What is the result of their decades of leadership? Baltimore is one of the top 5 most dangerous cities in America. The murder rate in Baltimore is 10 times the U.S. average. The Baltimore poverty rate is over 20%. Homicide, drug, and alcohol deaths are skyrocketing in our city. Do you believe Black Lives Matter? I do. The vast majority of crime in Baltimore is perpetrated against Black people, who make up 60% of the population. So why don't we care about our communities? The Democrat Party have betrayed the Black people of Baltimore. If the politicians walked the streets like I do, they would see exactly how their policies and corruption affects us. If they don't want to see it, they don't want you to see this. Go to any Baltimore neighborhood and ask this question. Do you want to defund the police?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
I had 3 sons killed in Baltimore City. And I think if we defund the police office, it's going to be worse than that. So no, I'm opposed to that.
What are you going to defund the police for? Why? How do you defend your city, your community? Families are losing people.
It's not just Baltimore. The worst place for a Black person to live in America is a Democrat-controlled city. It's 2020. Name a blue city where Black people's lives have gotten better. Try. I'll wait. Look at this. How are children supposed to live here and play here? Democrats think Black people are stupid. They think they can control us forever, that we won't demand better, and that we'll keep voting for them forever, despite what they've done to our families and our communities. Are they right? I'm Kim Klasick, and I'm running for Congress because I actually care about Black lives. All Black lives matter. Our communities matter. Baltimore matters. And Black people don't have to vote Democrat.
So that was a very powerful advertisement. But Kim Klasick didn't stop there. Obviously, that ad was an enormous hit, and she basically did, a second version of it. I mean, she changed it slightly, changed the color of her dress, focused on her specific plans for the city of Baltimore, and took that advertisement to a whole different level. If you enjoyed that first ad, take a look at the second ad that she's now produced and see how effective the use of graphics, the same music that she used, the same walking the streets of Baltimore. The only thing she changed was the color of her dress from red to white, but it's a very powerful ad. Take a look at the second ad from Kim Klasick.
Do you care about Black lives? I do. And unlike the people that currently run Baltimore, I actually have a plan to make life better for Black people here. Walk with me. I want you to see this. I'm Kim Klasick. This is Baltimore, the real Baltimore. This city was once among the most prosperous, populated, and powerful cities in America. So what happened? Our leaders abandoned us and Baltimore fell into ruin. But it doesn't have to be this way. None of this has to be this way. A broken Baltimore does not have to be our future. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I see this city differently. I walk the streets of Baltimore and see what could be. I want you to see what I see. I see Baltimore that picks up trash. There are piles of garbage all around Baltimore. It makes life unsafe for our families. I'll work with city leaders to get Baltimore's Solid Waste Bureau the resources it needs to take out the trash. Our streets should be a reflection of our leaders. Clean, not dirty. Much of our trash gathers in abandoned homes. There are over 17,000 abandoned buildings in Baltimore. They are a scar on the face of our city. I will support tax credits and incentive programs to give residents a chance to buy and rehabilitate these homes. Everyone deserves a safe community and a chance at home ownership. Let's put the charm back in Charm City. Who will live in these homes? The newly employed constituents of Baltimore City. This district needs more jobs. The best way to get them is by having businesses invest in our community. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act gives federal tax incentive to drive private investment into opportunity zones just like Baltimore. Who will work in all of these new jobs if we don't have an educated workforce? 9 out of 10 black boys in Baltimore are not reading at grade level. Over a dozen high schools in Baltimore have zero, yes, zero, students proficient in math. This is a tragedy. We can end the school-to-prison pipeline with school choice, providing parents with options to escape schools that do not serve our children.
Let's make Baltimore better for our kids. Isn't that the point? That's my vision for Baltimore. The corrupt leaders hate it. They attack me for taking a stand, for wanting better for our people, our children, our communities. But I'm not the only one who wants better.
Tens of millions of you have shared the struggle of black people in Baltimore. You lifted our voices. You cared about our black lives more than our own Democrat leaders. They have done nothing for us. Now they can't hide. It's time for change. We are that change.
I'm Kim Klacik, and I'm running for Congress because I actually care about black lives. All black lives matter. Our communities matter. We matter. And Baltimore doesn't have to vote Democrat.
Powerful ad, huh? I especially like that part at the end where she starts being surrounded by all these women in red dresses, obviously appealing to the women and women voters in her messaging, which is very, very important. It's going to be an uphill battle for Ms. Klacik. I mean, Elijah Cummings' district has been reliably Democratic forever and ever. But I got to tell you, boy, advertisements like that, I think, really move the needle. She has obviously become a well-known name now in Baltimore. And you never know. She may, in fact, pull it off. If so, that'll be something to really take a look at and for people to remember for some time to come. Shifting gears here. Let's head away from Baltimore and let's move to my favorite state, the state of Texas, the great state of Texas. And let's take a look at an advertisement that is unique for a couple of reasons. Number one, it is a joint campaign. This is a political advertisement, not for one candidate, but for a number of Republican candidates that are either up for re-election or for election for the first time to elected office. And the principal person in this ad is a gentleman that I've had the pleasure to meet, Dan Crenshaw. I'm sure most of you will recognize him, former Navy SEAL, eye patch from an injury he sustained in Iraq. Dan Crenshaw is a hell of a patriot, terrific individual. And I don't know if this was his idea or who came up with it, but it's a lot of fun. And it plays to his military background and the military backgrounds of so many of these candidates that are running for elected office now in the state of Texas. Take a look at this campaign. It's called Texas Reloaded. Take a look.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, will be to save Texas. To do so, you must recruit an exceptional team of congressional candidates. They must be courageous, patriotic, and absolutely fearless. Time is of the essence. The nation's future is dependent upon your success.
still know how to fly one of these things?
Dan Crenshaw.
I'm putting a team together, Wesley. You in?
You know I wouldn't miss this for the world, right? Wait. I think August is going to want to come too.
You guys looking for a real pilot? Let me get cleaned up.
You're an F-22 pilot. What were you doing working under a helicopter?
I have no idea what I was doing, but typical Air Force fixing the Army's problems.
This guy, Dan, bro, you could have just texted me, man. Why you gotta jump out of an airplane? It would have been way easier.
Because it's cooler to jump. Never mind.
God, come here.
And I want to thank these officers for a job well done.
Hey, Beth, when you're finished over there, Texas could use your help.
What the?
Hey, Tony, Texas has a better use for your talents.
Hey guys, who's next?
No.
I got this.
How was that for Hollywood theatrics? I mean, you got everything from jumping out of an airplane to Apache helicopters to, F-22s. You got all sorts of stuff. I'm sure that ad will play really well in the state of Texas. And I think those candidates are all top-notch. I think they've got a great opportunity to win back a number of seats for us in the House of Representatives, continue to represent Texas well. So I think that's a very powerful ad, and Dan Crenshaw is a hell of a guy, and I hope you'll enjoy that ad. I hope you enjoyed that ad as much as I did. Thank you for sticking with us here on MÁS con Más. Appreciate your support. Hope you enjoyed this segment. Stick around. We've got some other interesting guests in the future. We'll continue to bring you updates as what's going on in the political scene as we do so. And again, thank you for patronizing this channel. Thank you for being a supporter, and look forward to talking to you again real soon. Take care.